In this episode of The Real Crimes of Kurri Kurri, we look at the most recent no-shows. It seems every time court sits at Kurri, there are no-shows. So how does the court deal with defendants who don't show up? By the way, all of these defendants are called multiple times out the front of the courthouse, and they are mostly dealt with after midday. So there's lots of time to show up or contact the court. First defendant, turns out, is bail refused, meaning they are in custody. In my opinion, that's an acceptable reason not to show up in person if you're in jail. The defendant has a matter at Newcastle Local Court also. So the court transfers the Kurri case to Cessnock Local Court. Remember, Cessnock is part of the same court circuit with Kurri. It's the same magistrate. Cessnock Court has audio-visual links, which Kurri doesn't. So if you're in jail, there is an option of being videoed into Cessnock, which can't happen here at Kurri. Next example is that there were a few no-shows that contacted the court but said that they were sick. Illness sometimes is acceptable, but not always. Doctor certificates are helpful and usually result in adjournments. Being sick 4 court days in a row is risky. Also, emailing vague details about the illness can be risky. There were at least 2 requests with vague details that were refused and the court proceeded without them. Next type of no-shows were the ones that made no contact. This usually results in the court proceeding without them. Usually the defendant is convicted and fined and disqualified if it's a driving matter. Showing up, I think, can benefit as you can be there to tell your side of the story, which may result in a reduced sentence. Final type of no-show was the guy who emailed and claimed that he isn't required to show up because he already showed up in March and the case was dismissed. Does the court fact check this guy? Yep, the magistrate requests the court file to be located. The guy claims he showed up in March, however, the court file says he didn't. The guy claims the case was dismissed, however, the court file says it wasn't. So now suddenly there's a magistrate holding a court file and a defendant that hasn't shown up. The court proceeds without them. The offence is found to be proven. But how it ends, we won't know until late May when the guy is sentenced. In conclusion, probably being bail refused is the most acceptable reason for not showing up in person for a case here at Kurri Kurri Local Court.